You managed to defeat hard mode adventure 10-4, right? You finally are able to relax because the PvE part, at least the one in story, is done. Now the question is, what are your main goals now that you've beaten the PvE part? And in this video I want to talk about it. So there are certain things you can farm weekly and you should prioritize on. I think one important part after beating adventure is to be able to farm at least Chimera 10 for the 6-star gear, and for that you will focus on a fire team, right? Like ideally you want to build a fire team, and it can look like this, right? Because the clear time will be much easier. You will be faster, I mean. You will be able to clear it much faster than when you use only the regular units. Meta, Noah, Valentine, Theo and Dolly. And this way you can clear relatively freely and with low effort too. Like 60 plus units between 60 and 80 will have an easy time to auto clear it if you use the right talismans. And this team, for example, has potential to get faster and faster. I never tested how fast I could go now, but unless you really, like if you're in late game, you can use Noah and stuff, right? But for now you want to secure that you can farm Chimera for the speed and the counter gear, right? So this is the first thing that's really important. Speed gear is the backbone of many units. Many units are not viable without speed gear because they will just get beaten in arena. And also speed gear is very useful in PvE content, except if you have only a limited time of turn, a limited number of turns. And so I highly suggest to get speed gear first and focus on speed gear, while you at the same time farm crit damage gear and counter gear, which counter gear being useful in arena, and crit damage gear being useful overall to improve your damage, especially for stages with limited time of turns. Next, you also want to be able to beat Glycis. Glycis not only gives you the needed weapons and accessories, it also gives you is the only one which drops, as far as I know, speed, right? So it drops speed, defense, crit rate and resilience. Resilience and defense definitely not worth it. Crit rate can be worth it, especially if speed, if you have limited turns. But you want to get your first units at the highest possible speed that you can get. And don't mind too much the red stuff. Focus first now on blue gear. Some green gear is viable too, but focus mostly on blue gear because blue gear is easier to break through. Breakthrough is a ability in which you can use the same gear to break through weapons or talismans, right? So I will give you now an example. I'm not sure if I will break through anything, but let's take this one, for example. Has no speed, has health though. I can break through it very easily, either by using the Glunite, right? So reforge, not reforge, but breakthrough, or use weapons. I can check the stats here. This like has defense and low speed roll, so I can easily do a breakthrough and it improves the attack and health percentage, right? So very useful. I will actually do it now because why not? I'm using these Stellar for arena, and I forgot that I can do that actually to improve my health percentage, of course, because as you know, these Stellar scales with HP for damage. So I want to see this now, but it doesn't let me, so I will just keep going. Blur, are you okay, bro? So let's do this one, check the stuff. I will keep this one now, check this one, take speed 3, low rolls, and all over the place, the stats. Yeah, I can just use this for breakthrough. So you can do this with weapons and accessories, so keep that in mind when you do Glycis, that you don't directly that you don't dismantle other stuff, right? And yeah, with that, I think dismantling, you should know it by now. Dismantling is basically when you have gear and you don't want to use it and you don't want to sell it, right? And for me, it is green gear. I feel I have an easy time to just sell it, right? Like, because I don't even check them anymore. I don't want to waste resources on them, so I Just do it like this, sell, gone. No, easy gold. And for blue gear, I prefer to, I prefer to use this mantle because, for example, when I watch this one now, let's check it. It doesn't have any stats I need, but you need this to reforge, right? As you can see, to improve the substats. So easy dismantle for me, and simple as that. Just in case you didn't know. That's why, that's basically where most of your stamina will go, into those two weights. You can later, I think Meteors has really, really good pieces. Like, yeah, but I will talk about it another time, but it really has good pieces like the 15% chance to counter attack when an ally is hit, right? And it has HP, which is a HP percentage on the accessories, which is important on certain units like the Stellar, for example. So you can extend it to Meteors. The Beetles are probably at the start easier for you, but stage 10 is actually quite difficult. I tried it a couple times, but I'm too lazy to do it actively. I can't, yeah. I'm too lazy to do it. I might consider doing it, but there's nothing I want from here, so it's like whatever. And at the same time, you can farm HP. I tried it, but my weights were so bad, I gave up after 3 days. I never, the HP set could be interesting instead of counter on the Stellar, for example. But counter attack is, I think, really, really good. So keep that in mind. You could do a split of 2-2, which I tried to do, but like I said, I was super unlucky with HP, and I just thought I still need speed, go for Chimera, right? So after you have managed to beat both Chimera and Glycis, you always want also to do Archdemon Ruins, Infinite Corridor. It gives you 3 blue skill books. It gives you, it's the only source of talismans right now. And if you didn't do it anyway, always also clear the deeps. They give you extremely good talismans. The last one gives you a selector in which you can use a 6-star, choose a 6-star of the talismans, right? So incredibly valuable. A lot of skill books here to find too. And this is bugged, I got this already. Yeah, whatever. And yeah, so Archdemon Ruins, try to always do it. The skill books are worth it. And here we come to the next point. After you are able to grind your gear, you also want to maximize the skill books you get weekly, right? So I think this one I don't have to mention. Skill books are very, very rare. I have lots of units which have no skills developed, I think not even Rona, and I'm using Rona, for example, right? But because of the scarcity of skill books, I'm not able to waste units really. So look at my, I did everything I can free to play, or I didn't buy any books, so I used every way anyone else called, and they get super, super scarce, right? And this is the next point, skill books. That's why I mentioned Archdemon Ruins. Because of talisman skill books, you can get skill books in Tower, you can get Aether in Tower, and they are really, really, really important too, of course, because they reset every month, and the skill books alone make it worth it. But also the Aether is not to be undervalued. You get free tickets. Try to clear Tower as fast as you can. I managed in day 4, but I was a Dolphin, so of course it's a bit different. I played meta, and or was it day 5? I'm not sure. Day 4, day 5. At least before the reset, okay? So you get also, this one is a 5 or 6 stars weapon randomly, right? 500,000 gold coins. Definitely try to push Skyward Tower before it resets. And those are already, you have good book resources, sources with those two already. And let's talk about more book resources, sources. Arena, of course, really, really important. The important part is that you gain the currency, right? They buffed it already. We get 5 more on each level, on each difficulty enemy, dependent on whatever I said. This one I do because I'm currently frustrated with Arena. I don't think that it's a must. It's just an easy way to dump points before you lose the fight, right? If you are unlucky with the refresh. And after the first one, you have to pay. And the reason you want to get the points here, this one is nice, but it's way too low. It's like, it's not a big deal. Like later on, Master 1, I think everyone should try to get Master 1 later for the 750 Aether weekly. It's more Aether, it's always good. But the important parts, like I said, are the books. You get 2 red books per week, 3 blue ones, and 5 green ones, right? You get 50 stamina daily, And this one is all extra. You can dismantle it. It's useless as gear itself, but other than that, super useful. So you can see here already more books. Friendship points have no books, there's only stamina points. Always keep up your friend list up, but that's not so important. You can go for the clear tickets. I'm not doing that right now, but I will probably later. And here also in the weekly, you can buy 5 green books, 2 blue books, maximizing your skill books. Again, super important. Even shop, if they have skill books, buy them. They don't have it here, but event is not the part of the video right now. The important part are skill books for the end game, what you want to do. So keep that in mind. You want to maximize skill books, you want to maximize Ether income, and here's the next one. It's a survey hub, and here are the last. I think I will check next if there are more sources of books, but you definitely want to have this skill books about every week. So you want to do adventure, and here's also the next big part. You want to farm gifts for your units, so that the gifts can be used to get the exclusive equipment, right? Exclusive equipment is very hard to get at the start. You get lots of gifts at the start, so you can use it on 1 or 2 units. But later on, you will farm adventure anyway for the skill books in the survey hub. And the most efficient way is to go for the gifts, right? Here, for example, I do just auto. I don't do the stages again. I'm too lazy for that. And you can get red gifts here, right? You get in any way, you get gifts for every attempt, which is really, really good. And it stacks up very fast. It's sadly a lot of stamina you could use for gear instead, but because you want the skill books anyway, you will do it. And in this way, for exclusive equipment, it's also a long-term goal for all of you guys. I think per week, 1 exclusive equipment is possible. Yeah. So definitely keep that in mind. Very important in the late game to farm the gifts just because you want to get the books. Don't go for the except you really are close to something. Don't go for the gems. You have way too many of them later on. Like I have 94 of the light ones, 139 of those, 106 of those, 107 of those. You see, I can 80 to 100 any 10 units right now, right? So don't worry about that. So like I said, I will look now if I can find any other resource for books, and I think the only one is this one. You get green books here if you do daily mission stuff, and it's every 2 weeks, so definitely worth it. Also for the tickets, super interesting. So always do that too. This one, nothing interesting here for late game especially. And yeah, the next one I want to talk about, which is for solo players of course, is side story. So I use stamina refreshers, so I use 1 stamina refresh to do side story challenges, and aim for certain units. If you don't know, every 3-star you get will open up 1 side story branch for them, and you can farm shards for them. For me, for example, I'm currently farming Stella. Currently we have the double buff going on, so you get 2 per 1, and you can easily farm 2 stars of the same color and 3-star of a unit you already have, right? So in this case, I can farm Stella pieces, and it's really important because if you want to compete, this is the best way to get the get shards, and it makes a big difference long-term wise. And it's 60 stamina. Let's be real, you don't get anything in gear farming anyway this way, and I think rather than having a couple pieces geared more, you rather want to have all your main units at 5-star at least, right? For and Stella at 6-star, but you can't farm side story Stella, which is another story I could rant about, but I don't. So, and now the next part, guilds. Base, I think it's obvious you want to maximize your base because, and your expedition, you want to farm. It's like the real endgame is expeditions. They give good amount of gold for stamina and good amount of gifts and hammers, right? Which hammers will be in the late game not an issue either, because I have lots of hammers. I can show it soon. Important, yeah, I forgot the guild shop. You can also get skill books in the guild shop. So just as a small reminder, weekly gives you guild shop books. You need level 3 for blue books, level 1 for green books, I think, or level 2, I don't know. And guild shop 5 has the red ones, but for the red ones, your guild leader has to go to level 2 from the guild, and that takes of course a while. So if your guild leader is not pushing to 5 and this one is level 1, then that's the reason, okay? And of course, late game, I think guild security area, try to get to 40 per attempt, right? That's fine. Guild weights, that's the more important part. If we get a roadmap, we can see the next guild weights bosses. So keep that in mind when you are building up certain units. That if are they viable for X, I think next one is Psy. And if Psy has no different color, which could of course be, Psy will be, let's check it again, what color is, I think he's light. In the story he is light, but we don't know what the color will be in the end, right? But we know it's Psy, so you can at least expect 1 or 2 skills of them. So to the late game belongs being able to make points for your guild, so that your guild can push very, very high. And in this way, when they push very high, you are easily able to to get a high guild rate level. And we are currently, I think, 29, which is really, really nice. It gives you like 13% XP and gold buff in regular stuff, and 8% something, I can't recall. Let's check it out. If you want to be in a good guild, you have to do something, right? You have to help your guild to achieve it, else you will end up in a guild with less buffs. And I think at least top 100 is accessible for anyone, which gives you 12% gold, 7% XP, and even more HP for your units in PvE content. Yeah, and of course you want those points, right? So give your best for guild weight, definitely endgame content. Try to find a guild with Discord and go wild with them. Try to push for top 10. And if you're not that active, yeah, at least top 100. Top 100 has already decent buffs. So yeah, there's that. So we talked about shards, we talked about arena importance, we talked about skill books, and that's, like I said, those are the main focuses. Like, I mean, base is obvious and we could nothing to do with it. The important part is to get as many units ready as you can to have lots of options. And gear is the forever one stick stuff, you know. Gear, you will do gear forever, and that's okay. That's totally okay. So yeah, like I said, Chimera and Meteor's Glycis are the most interesting ones for the end game. You definitely want to be able to auto farm them. Then do every 3 or 4 days, I'm not sure, it feels like, I think 3 days. So 4 days, let's say 4 days. Go for the skill books, go for the talisman. At the start, go for chain points, and if you think you are easy, PvE is very easy, switch to AP talismans, because AP talismans will be very relevant in arena. And Skyward Tower, definitely push it to 100, so you can always push it again when it's resets, right? It's easy Eta, it's easy skill books. And honestly, that's mostly it already, right? Maximize on skill books, maximize on Eta, and as long as you do shards, you will get the gear anyway, but also farm gear, but farm it with cautious, you know. Like, what I would say is, if I can say it, let's go to base. Crafting is extremely expensive, right? I don't like to craft anymore. I don't do it. What I would suggest doing is waiting for the buff. There will be a weekly buff in which crafting will be reduced. Wait for this week and then go wild with crafting. But until then, just deal with the gear that drops, okay? And I think, yeah, this video was very easy, poorly made, but I think you understand now that the late game is pretty much straightforward. If you reach the end game, just go for the things I mentioned and you will have a good time and you will move quickly forward. And like I said, this is very easily achievable. I'm a dolphin and I have many units at high levels. I have a big option pool and I'm raising currently more options. And yeah, it will be only a few months and you will have most units already on max, not on max level, but 80 plus, right? So don't worry about them too much. Worry about skill books, ETA, and a bit of arena. Yeah. And yeah, I will wrap it up here. Thank you for watching, guys. And if I missed something, I probably did because I didn't prepare this video. Feel free to mention it because I think we don't have much endgame content right now, but it is possible. It takes some time. And with that, have a good one. Bye, guys.